Hello and welcome to Basketball World News. This is a news segment I'll be featuring here on my channel where we talk about different stories and topics affecting the basketball community around the world. In our first episode, we're going to be talking about this pandemic situation and how it has particularly affected the European basketball scene. Let's take a look. As many of you know, European basketball pretty much shut down March 12th of last spring. Champions League, Euro League, anything from high-level professional basketball on down through amateur of any sport was completely canceled. Okay, then we see European sports opening up into the summer, especially basketball, just to collapse early this fall, unfortunately, as specifically here in the Czech Republic, we go into a very strict governmental shutdown due to the virus, and other countries start to follow suit. Each country is acting on their own individual plan of what they think is right, some with light restrictions, some with very, very strict regulations. So, for example, again here in the Czech Republic, we had a closure now on October 12th, and the original saying from the government was that by November 2nd, kids will be back in school, we'll reevaluate, see if we can open up the gyms and have sports and things of that nature, activities again, okay? Now we're seeing this being pushed back to November 20th, so it's constantly always being pushed back, and I don't see it getting better anytime soon, especially approaching the winter. The top league here has decided to really fight to be able to begin to play again, okay? So the sport ministry has granted them that special permission as a professional league, okay? And we're seeing this around Europe. Germany's doing the same thing. The German BBL, Pro A, and Pro B can play, while leagues from First Regionalliga on down through youth and all amateur levels of play are completely canceled. Although, yes, now they're able to play, whereas before some of them were leaving the country, going across the border so they could even practice. Now this puts a big constraint because we're a small country and the league doesn't have the money. We've got a few teams that have some money, but not to be able to take on that protocol of testing constantly and avoiding this virus with travel. Especially here when things are exploding. I remember in last spring, you knew no one with coronavirus. Now in the Prague area, our team specifically was hit by it. We had a few cases. Other teams have had many cases, which led to the overall shutdown. Games were being canceled. Okay, and that's what we're seeing now in these leagues. So even though, you know, some teams are completely not playing, some leagues deemed professional that they need to continue their season, they're also canceling games because they have the virus. So it's not like they're continuing play and everything is going so well. And you're seeing this really affecting the basketball community as a whole. Sponsorship withdrawals, no fan rounds, you cannot go to games. And even countries that are in lighter conditions and restrictions now, you're still seeing a different reaction from the sports world. So even though borders may be open, sports may be closed, or only professional teams are playing, and vice versa. If they're having a real strict lockdown, they still may be playing a sport. Each country is reacting their own way. Now, what this does to the basketball community is devastates basketball jobs. So, as many of you who follow my social media or my channel know, I talked earlier on in the summer regarding what basketball was going to look like through the summer into the fall, and this is pretty much what we talked about, where the worst has kind of realized, where we go to start back up and it shuts down and it has a humongous effect on players, coaches, and teams. And I'm one of them. This is my full-time job here, and you know, without the funding, without our continual playing, without things being open, these jobs are now closed. And you see, you know, hundreds of thousands of people now losing their position because of either shutdowns. Leagues that haven't started, leagues are not taking imports, leagues are having to send coaches and players home, or like we talked about in previous videos, they're not even bringing the players to start with. There was only 28% of basketball jobs even filled going into the start of the European season. Now you're seeing even less than that, and now you're seeing people that had jobs can't retain them because of the shutdowns. Many players are going home, especially at the semi-pro level, where the teams just cannot afford to continue to have their coaches or have their players. They can't afford to house them or to, test them regularly. Don't know when the shutdown is going to release itself. And my predictions for the future, again, I'm no scientist or health professional. This is just what I'm hearing from league administrators and other people around the government sports scene, is that this is not going to release anytime soon. As we go into the winter and you have an uptick in cases, and it's just natural that people are going to get sick anyway through the fall and through the winter, it doesn't look like this is going to get better, especially without a vaccine. So I think what we're going to experience is that these leagues that are allowed to play, even if there's a country shutdown, you're going to see them shutting down anyway. Like we said, they're canceling games left and right, all over in many different countries. And then what does it come down to mostly when we're talking about leagues and clubs? Who makes up these? Well, people. The jobs, the workers, the coaches, the players. It's affecting basketball people the most. That's where we're seeing this really taking a toll and a hardship. As a coach and as a former player, where my mindset would be, okay? First of all, as a coach, I'm trying to, you're gonna have to be humble. I'm trying to find and scrap for any little thing you can at this time, and that should be your head too. If you don't have something solid, then you need to be out there trying to get anything you can in the basketball world to keep your foot in or to try to be stable. As a player, stay in shape. Stay in shape. Don't take a risky opportunity. I wouldn't advise you to go somewhere where you think your health is going to be at risk, especially if it's a low check, which right now, unfortunately, teams are not able to pay as much as what they normally could during a normal year. So you're going to have to weigh that. You're going to have to keep yourself ready and stay in shape, and you're going to have to get out of your head about thinking how, this year is going to affect you. You don't have a basketball job. You're having to do something else that maybe you don't like just to pay the bills, or what this gap is going to do to your resume in the future. You're going to have to just stay persistent, stay patient, let this thing run its course, and you're making the smartest and best moves for yourself, for your future. If you have a position right now and you're able to stay in it, make the most out of it, because there are so many people that would love to be in your position right now. I wish you all the best and nothing but health and happiness moving forward. Take care, basketball community. We will get through this together.